Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. As the roster mania discussions continue, it seems iLLeY might be hinting that Optic Dallas is just around the corner, but also Envoy turning up at Scump's house while he was streaming. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. It is free after all. We love to see it. This firstly from Crimsix, this guy honestly just keeps on going and he's incredible. The battle for all mankind, choose your side, choose your fighter. Crimsix versus Smith, controller versus keyboard and mouse. Gersh did a phenomenal job here with the graphics, like, you know, the tattoos just crack me up. But I guess I can bring it on a bit of a fuller screen for you guys to see if you really want to. But something that actually was kind of interesting about this, of course, we talked about the whole Crimsix, you know, versus Smith, whole keyboard and mouse versus controller stuff the last several days. But just the fact that Gersh, who's the social media manager right now, does the work for the flank as well and Zoom and that, but also social media manager for the New York subliners, where Crimsix is rumored to be joining. So maybe the fact that he's doing some of these graphics indicates there might be a relationship ongoing there and upcoming really with the subliners. We don't know when, if ever, that is, well, that sort of stuff is going to get confirmed. I did think this was kind of funny actually, so Smith hits the reply, yeah, I'm looking good at this, what the hell, lol, I'm literally serious on this too if you were down. So that's what I'm talking about, baby. Like, get these two guys in a ring, get Crimsix, honestly, like, this would be, the pay-per-view would go through the roof if Call of Duty, like, beef and stuff like this started hitting the boxing ring. But yeah, maybe something to happen in the future. This from Standy I thought was kind of interesting. Can't wait for Vanguard. Saints Naruto in the replies. Can't wait to shoot against you again, my brother. Who really knows what's going on with Saints? There were rumors last year when he was on the Subliners Academy that he was meant to be bought out by Paris, but they didn't want to pay the like 25 grand buyout or whatever his buyout was from the team, so they decided to go down a different route. Will Saints get a spot this year? It's very much up in the air. To be fair, like, there's a lot of pro players that last year in the league didn't have the greatest year at all, which maybe means that guys like Saints outside of things, if you're a Paris right now, what the hell are you up to? And even if you're a Washington, right, if that is the spot that comes through, what are they thinking? Like, is Saints an option there? Because I think he could have had some many good opportunities last year to get back into the league. Didn't quite happen. Maybe it's going to happen this time around, because definitely a legendary player in Call of Duty history. They're still performing at a pretty high level, but it's just tough, right? And there's some players that have been thinking, yes, if I have to have another year of playing in challenges, I might just call it quits. And one of those players could indeed be Methodz, as we'll look at just here in a second. This again for Vivid. I'm pretty sure he tweeted this exact thing out like 2 days ago. We talked about it, so he tweeted it out again yesterday. Thought I'd talk about it again, maybe indicating something is on the horizon. Interestingly enough, as Buttermite Matthew points out the replies here, as you can see from Methodz likes here, well, he hit the like on this tweet. Now, of course, there have been rumors, like if you were Washington and you had to, like, the rumor is right now that the Chicago spot that currently owned by NRG with the Optic Dallas thing that's happening apparently is going to be going to Washington. Therefore, like, Washington have to find some players, I suppose. And if you are going to find some players, Vivid seems like probably the hottest SMG prospect still on the market that hasn't been snapped up as of yet. And then you've got to think about what you're going to do from an AR perspective, and that could well be Methodz. I'm pretty sure Methodz has said, especially with all the success he's seeing right now on Twitch, which is fantastic to see, that, look, I imagine he still wants to compete professionally, but maybe if the Twitch stream goes incredibly well, he might not even think about doing that, but he certainly doesn't want, I imagine, to spend another year down in the Challengers pit when he could be making way more money, of course, you know, just streaming on a regular basis and kind of hitting the retirement button like Zoom was done, and we've seen what's happened from there with him. But yeah, still, if Methodz gets an opportunity here for Washington, for example, you would imagine that he would, well, you know, opportunity to compete in the CDL for another year or so, like, can't go wrong with that, and especially with the opportunity it could be to team with Vivid and some other players they might want to team with him, I don't really know. But just because it's going so well right now on Twitch, maybe he's having second thoughts about the whole competing situation, but he did announce it unrestricted free agents. If he goes to win City stream more than me, you can let me know in the comment section about what his current thoughts are, but I don't believe he wants to go down the Challengers route once again. That'd be pretty painful, I think, you know, given the tough time that online has brought to a lot of those individuals. But yeah, maybe Methodz Vivid could be a potential duo going into next year. This also from Prestinni. A lot of people have been discussing the possibility of Prestinni being the substitute for Atlanta FaZe, because they need a sub, and Prestinni might make a fair bit of sense, as he says right here, moving in with Alec, that being Arcitys' his twin brother this week, not identical twin brothers, of course. Now I get to harass the guy in person. So yeah, Prestinni's been talking about the ups and downs of his career, of course, as of late, and definitely a very solid player. Won the World Championship with United alongside Simp, aBeZy and Arcitys way back now in 2019. But still, I mean, Prestinni, very solid player, very serviceable player, could be a great player to have on the sub bench, to be honest, because I think he can use an SMG, can use an AR, and definitely he's going to do what a team needs to actually win. The last couple of years hasn't been so pretty for him. Obviously, he had the stint on Seattle Surge this last year, had the stint before that on Chicago Huntsman, Florida Mutineers even before that, right at the start of the Modern Warfare season. But yeah, maybe the substitute spot for Atlanta FaZe, now it is open with Simp going to Seattle Surge, could be a shoe-in for Prestinni, especially given the previous relationship relationships with that team, and who knows, if you need something, Prestinni is going to be the guy to step up to the plate. So this then from iLLeY, that came out yesterday that a lot of people were discussing, that well, the kind of egg timer type thing going on right here, counting down the days till the point where we get an announcement. A couple of days ago, there was a shoot going on in LA or whatever, Scump was flying out to it. We had other people out there as well, like Shotzzy and iLLeY weren't necessarily on the stream that day. Dashy was on a plane as well. A lot of people thinking they're recording some sort of announcement. Generally, Optic tend to take their time a little bit longer with the announcements than some of the other squads. I remember last year, it was pretty much when the game launched in November, and to be fair, it was probably signed quite late there, the whole deal that they had, but you know, I'm pretty sure it was signed quite late, but still, it was early November time, like November the 13th or something, when Optic announced last year that the Optic Chicago thing was happening, and Chicago Hunter was no longer going to be a thing. Like, the rumors came out a few days ago, and I'm pretty sure they announced it on pretty much the same day that the game came out, so a lot was happening then. But still, I mean, we're expecting many announcements. I thought by now, like, you know, towards the end of September, we'd have most of the announcements coming through, but still a lot of these teams are taking their time, and of course we know roughly what the rosters could be, but we still don't know too many things about the team, what the coaching staff is going to look like how the chemistry might work in certain situations, what the roles are certainly going to be, like what they think the roles are going to be is very much up in the air. And in this case, you don't even know what the teams are going to be called, and so many other questions like that still remain. So certainly there's a lot of good room to be done on in terms of like making good announcements and stuff, but maybe iLLeY's just kind of counting down the days and waiting for Vanguard to launch, so this could be looked at from that lens, because I think iLLeY was talking the other day, the fact that like he just can't wait to get back into scrimming, right? This guy loves playing Call of Duty, so maybe he's just counting down the days until the game launches. But yeah, still many a team right now, many a big name team to have not yet confirmed what their roster is going to be. But it does seem like Optic Dallas still going down this route, as you can see right here. Shotzzy spotted yesterday playing some Warzone with a Scump and Jumper, and I'm not really sure I've seen these guys play too much together as of late, so of course it makes sense that these guys are teaming up. This is going to be what you imagine to be your SMG duo for next year on the Optic Dallas. Certainly a scary one alongside iLLeY and Dashy. So many questions really around that team if it does indeed get confirmed, in terms of, you know, they have been raised by Envoy in previous weeks about work ethic and stuff like this, but maybe Rambo will be the solution to that if indeed it does go through and Optic Dallas is a thing. But it remains to be seen if that's even going to be the name of the squad, most certainly. This I thought was kind of funny that Kevy Skills pointed out yesterday that Scump was streaming right here, and Envoy, of course, yeah, the Prince versus the King or whatever. There's certainly that nice storyline going into next season, because Envoy certainly wants to prove that Optic yeah, made a mistake in getting rid of him. He's going to Los Angeles Thieves. The squad over there is going to be Octane, Kenny, Drazah, and Envoy, and there's been a lot of talk about the potential rivalry between those two organizations going into next year. It's going to be a spicy one, right? Because hopefully Los Angeles Thieves are finally competitive this year, and that means that well, we get more nice rivalries between those teams and others, because the last couple of seasons, or this season, sorry, when Los Angeles Thieves have been a thing, it hasn't been so pretty for them, right? And well, I'll just share this clip for you guys. Envoy showed up at Scump's house with no warning. Rumors saying that he is there to fight for the glory of Optic.
Dude, you're pissing me off now. Wait, he's actually here! What the fuck? He's actually here! I'm not even capping. Bro, what the fuck are you doing? Yo, he's actually here. What are you doing?
This I thought was pretty entertaining as well from NRG Isaac. I'm thinking about putting on a custom game tourney where players must use the opposite input. You know, controller players use mouse and keyboard and vice versa. Who is interested? And Envoy's like, yes, need to be a part of this, because, you know, he knows his way around a keyboard and mouse, and also around a controller most certainly. That's the thing really with so many of these, well, controller professional players. And to be fair, like, it's probably, I mean, honestly, it would be just a whitewash, right? If you get a load of these COD pros that play Valorant at a very high level and get them to play against PC players that try and use controller, it's just going to be an absolute disaster, like for the PC players that are trying to use controller, which does kind of make sense, right? Because a lot of the times PC, of course, there's a lot of great games on PC. If you're a PC player, you're probably not really going to go and play too many console games, but the other way around, you might certainly do that, right? So of course, a lot of well, controller professionals are also very proficient on a keyboard and mouse. Probably not the other way around though, really, which means this could be a whitewash tournament, but maybe Envoy could get involved and have a good result and make things pretty entertaining as a result of it. This was Lion Man's card for Shotzzy for the entirety of the season. I thought I'd bring up for you guys. I mean, pretty solid all things considered. It's tough to read into all the stats at the end of the day, but again, one World Championship ring, of course, from last season. Not quite as dominant, I guess, this year as he was last year, at least towards the end of the title, but his stats honestly very similar, and towards the end, you could well argue this year that Shotzzy was like the biggest hard carry in the entire game. Like, Crimsix has talked about the frustrations that he had from himself personally, but also with the rest of the team, and Shotzzy a lot of the time was pretty much doing it all to carry these guys through things. Of course, it's a team effort at the end of the day, but yeah, Shotzzy was world starring people, well. There's no doubt about that one. And this I thought also was kind of interesting that was pointed out by Mr. Omak on Reddit here. We don't really know what the maps are going to be next year for Search and Destroy. And there has been some discussion about Red Star. Like, look, I don't know if Red Star is going to be a good Search and Destroy map. I think a lot of people have been suggesting probably it's not a good idea. And hopefully we have other games in the, well, other maps in the game that could replace it. Certainly not for Respawn, but I can see a world in which they try and make us play this one. We can see right here as he points out what the current spawns are over here, maybe making the new spawns here and putting the bomb sites in slightly different positions. Could make this a reasonable Search and Destroy map. It just seems one of those maps that, like, if you just sliced it off here, then it actually might not be too bad. But still, all this open space in the middle reminds me of that, like, block map from Call of Duty 4, you guys might remember, which doesn't really make for a great competitive play. But, you know, who really knows? And given we were talking about Los Angeles Thieves earlier, I thought this was kind of entertaining. Because, well, we saw Nadeshot a couple of days ago tweeted this out. He since deleted it. But it was kind of a questionable take, to say the very least. If you weren't a pro player yourself, you shouldn't be making top 10, top 25, top nothing lists, period, end of discussion. Which I don't know if this is just going for interactions or whatever, but, like, obviously you can still make top 10 lists that could be pretty reasonable, even if you weren't a pro player yourself. I think his kind of argument was he was talking to Myth and such, saying that, like, yeah, you can't really make a top 10 FPS players of all time if you haven't played against some of the controller professionals at a high level. You don't know what it takes to actually do that, which I kind of get in that perspective. At the same time, though, like, people were kind of clowning him in the replies here, because if you weren't an actor yourself, you shouldn't be making these lists, end of discussion. And then, you know, commenting on this, I think I saw some other thing where Nadeshot was like listing, you know, like ranking fruits in order or something. It's like, well, if you're not, you know, a fruit farm or whatever, then you shouldn't be allowed to rank the top 5 fruits in the world. Obviously not the greatest take, but yeah, Nadeshot likes to get involved with stuff like this. And then people talk about it. But just wanted to finish off with this clip from Scump I thought was kind of funny. This, of course, on the phenomenal Red Star map we had here in the Vanguard beta. Gets the attack dogs. And I used to remember, like, back in the day, you'd call in, like, sometimes you'd call in a stealth chopper or something, or a swarm, for example, in Black Ops 2, and it would take you down. But the attack dogs taking down Scump in this game was kind of funny. This guy went absolutely rogue. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really upset that YouTube aren't going to like you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.